Straight Talk Bangladesh on the brink as chaos. China loom large, Modi signals India's resolve. Bangladesh is in chaos. Muhammad Yunus has threatened to quit, but is yet to act on his threats. The army chief, Waqar Uz-Zaman, is growing restless. Bangladesh's constitution requires that national elections must be held within 90 days of government dissolution. So, elections should have ideally been conducted by November last year in Bangladesh. Yet, here we are in the May of 2025 and there are still no signs of elections being imminent. Instead of charting a course back to stability, Yunus and his interim government seem more focused on narrative control than crisis resolution, adopting a posture of victimhood while deflecting blame for a crisis that is largely self-inflicted. From making ill-informed and provocative statements, such as insinuating that India's northeastern states are landlocked, a geographical absurdity seemingly designed to needle New Delhi, to recklessly inviting China to expand its strategic footprint into the Bay of Bengal via Bangladesh, Yunus regime has systematically alienated its most crucial and historically supportive ally. Obviously, this has led to a remarkable deterioration in India-Bangladesh ties. Now, India is upping the ante and reminding Dhaka of its strategic vulnerabilities. Prime Minister Narendra Modi is set to visit Alipurduyar on Thursday, ostensibly to sound the BJP's poll bugle for the West Bengal Assembly elections, which are now less than a year away. While that is true, one must also recognize that Alipurduyar in North Bengal lies in close proximity to the chicken neck corridor. The visit comes in the backdrop of India subtly reminding Bangladesh that it has its own chicken necks to worry about. Muhammad Yunus' brazen placation of both China and Pakistan has forced India to remind him of Bangladesh's vulnerable corridors. First is the 80-kilometer-long North Bangladesh corridor from Dhaka and Dinajpur in India's West Bengal to southwest Garo Hills in Meghalaya. This corridor is absolutely essential for Bangladesh to maintain effective administrative control, logistical supply lines, and economic connectivity with its entire northern Rangpa division. The Rangpa division, comprising 8 districts, is a significant agricultural and population hub. Assam Chief Minister Himanta Biswa Sarma has declared on social media that any disruption here can completely isolate the entire Rangpa division from the rest of Bangladesh. India's capacity to exert pressure here is considerable. Were the Siliguri corridor to face a tangible threat orchestrated or abetted by elements within Bangladesh, India could, with relative ease, severely constrict movement through this North Bangladesh corridor. The second critical pressure point is the Chittagong corridor. This is an even narrower strip, approximately 28 kilometers wide, running from near Belonia in Tripura down to the Bay of Bengal. This corridor is the sole land link connecting the vital port city of Chittagong and the entire Chittagong Hill Tract (CHT) region with the Bangladeshi mainland. Chittagong is not just Bangladesh's primary port, handling over 90% of its international trade. It's the economic lifeblood of the nation. Any significant disruption to this slender corridor would have catastrophic consequences for Bangladesh's economy. Consider the implications if India perceived a grave threat to its own strategic interests emanating from or facilitated by Bangladesh, particularly a threat that could sever its northeast, then ensuring the functionality of the Chittagong corridor for Dhaka would cease to be an Indian priority. Restricting access here could paralyze Bangladesh. Imports and exports would grind to a halt. Essential supplies to the mainland from its main port would be choked off. Essentially, by reminding Bangladesh of its vulnerabilities, India has made it clear beyond an iota of doubt that if push comes to shove, Dhaka stands to lose a lot more. Beyond these 2 geographical choke points, India possesses other significant levers. The Teesta River water sharing issue, for instance, has long been a sensitive point in bilateral relations. India, as the upper riparian state, controls the flow of the Teesta, which is crucial for irrigation in northern Bangladesh, particularly during the dry season. The Teesta also feeds agricultural demands in northern Bengal. While India has historically sought equitable solutions, in a scenario of heightened hostility initiated by Dhaka, a more assertive Indian stance on water management could inflict severe agricultural and ecological distress upon Bangladesh. New Delhi has already set the precedent to do so, by suspending the implementation of the Indus Waters Treaty with Pakistan. This precedent of decisive action, coupled with Prime Minister Modi's strategic signaling from Alipurduyar and the stark illumination of Bangladesh's own critical choke points, paints an unambiguous picture for Dhaka. India's strategic patience has its limits, especially when the vital Siliguri corridor is put at risk by irresponsible policies and dangerous alignments in its immediate neighborhood. For instance, Chinese interest in developing Bangladesh's Lal Manirat Airport, which is critically close to the Siliguri corridor, has not been missed by New Delhi. The apprehension is that Chinese involvement in this project could end up making the airport suitable for both civilian as well as military operations. Swipe left for next video. Muhammad Yunus and his interim government must now make a critical choice: continue down this perilous path of confronting India, and invite a robust Indian response that could cripple the nation by leveraging some of Dhaka's many vulnerabilities. Or, they can heed the clear warnings, abandon their self-destructive anti-India posture, silence the radical jihadis, facilitate the long-overdue democratic elections that the army itself seems to desire, and steer Bangladesh back towards stability and constructive regional engagement. The stability of the entire Bay of Bengal region, and indeed the future prosperity of Bangladesh itself,
hinges on Daka making the wise choice, for the alternative is a self-inflicted descent into a crisis far deeper and more damaging than the one it currently navigates. Views expressed in the above piece are personal and solely those of the author. They do not necessarily reflect News 18's views. Latest blogs.